What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And this is another edition of the Casey Crew.
Welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you guys had a great week. We are kicking off our week pretty good, actually. I really had an amazing last couple of days besides the snow.
Mm-hmm.
I was in LA over the weekend, and I really missed you. So when I got back, I really tried to D you down hard.
You did try to D me down hard.
I tried. I got a little tired. I was a little jet lagged, but that little 10 minutes was like the best 10 minutes ever.
Yeah, and then 10 minutes and 1 second, that back started giving out.
Yeah.
The legs started shaking.
If I didn't,
you need to hit the gym.
If I wasn't jet lagged, and I am in the gym, but if I wasn't jet lagged, it would have been 20 minutes. But because I was a little jet lagged and tired from LA, it was 10 minutes.
Well, I thank you for that.
All right. Now, if you want to see us live and talk and chat with us live, don't forget our live show is April 15th at the Highline Ballroom. HighlineBallroom.com is less than 50 tickets left. We'd love to see you guys. And the reason I talk about it so much is the last one we did, people would hit me at the last minute like, it's sold out, it's sold out. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to tell you. Don't wait last minute. We have less than 50 tickets. We'd love to see you guys. All right. Now, this week's podcast, I want to talk about some personal shit.
Yes, let me interrupt you. We're going to start off this episode with argument of the week because we are literally in the middle of a disagreement that we were having 20 minutes ago. And I said, you know what? Just hold on to that and we'll have the discussion on the podcast.
Right. So when I got back from LA, I went downstairs in the basement to work out, and I told Madison to come with me. Mm-hmm. The reason I told her to come with me is because, I haven't seen her in a couple of days because I was in LA, and I just wanted to connect and talk with her, no TV, no music, just me and her talking while I'm lifting weights. And we started talking, and I asked everything. How's school? How's your friends? What are you into? What music you like? We talk about everything. And she was talking about one of her friends she was talking to, and pretty much her friend was saying, hey, what will it take for you to pretty much come out with me? Meaning he drives. Mm-hmm. And he was asking, what will it take? I know your parents are very strict. I know they don't want you to drive with anybody.
And we're not very strict, by the way. Go ahead.
And he was asking, what will it take to, to go out, whatever, go get some pizza or whatever it may be. So after talking to Madison, and if you listen to the podcast, Madison's safety police. And when I mean safety police, she don't play nothing that's unsafe. I mean, you're not going to talk on the phone while you're driving, unless it's a Bluetooth. You're not going to text and drive. She will tell on you. You better have your seatbelt on. You better be doing the speed limit. Like, she is on it. And not just with me, not just with Gia, not just with the nanny. Whoever she's in the car with, she doesn't play.
Like, I've gotten checked many times.
Right. And so talking to Madison, and I was saying, Madison, so, would you want to, go get something to eat or maybe go to the mall? And she was like, yeah, but I'm not allowed to ride with anybody in the car. And the gentleman that we're talking about, I've seen him a couple of times. I spoke to him a couple of times, and seems like a nice guy. And he was really into, I know your parents are strict, but what can I do to make it comfortable for them? Like, I will drive them around if need be. I will be extra safe. And Madison was like, no, he's a safe individual. He's not one of those crazy guys. He said when people go out, he's the designated driver. Like, he is a good model kid. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't have a problem with it. Let me go talk to mom.
Well, let me just say, before you go any further, you have to give a little backstory because we discussed the way that we parent and some of our ideas about parenting on a much earlier podcast.
Correct.
So there are people that might be new listeners that have no idea what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, we're very, I guess we're not strict, but we're not strict. We're very strict and very...
Hold on. You think we're strict?
Yes.
You think that we are strict?
More you than me, yes.
Strict? You really use the word strict? I'm floored.
Okay.
Strict?
You want me to give you some examples?
Rashawn, your examples are BS. Okay. Honestly.
When was that?
That's not strict.
When was Madison allowed to...
If you bring up crossing the street again,
when was she allowed to cross the street?
Fight.
When was she allowed to cross the street?
Rashawn.
She's not really allowed to cross the street.
Stop. Can you stop perpetuating that? Dude, that is not the truth. Why are you saying that?
We live in a cul-de-sac. You don't even allow the kids to play in the cul-de-sac.
Listen, at 14 and 16 now, they can play in the cul-de-sac if 16, they chose to. Okay. Listen.
That's strict. No, I really want you to think about... No. I really want you to think about...
You are so off
what
base
we were able to do at what age.
The way that you're saying it gives the wrong impression.
Yeah, I used to walk to the bodega to get beef patties and cocoa bread, probably at the age of 10, 11, 12. Walk across the street near Springfield Boulevard, and I didn't live in an area like this, and my parents allowed me to do it.
Okay.
I was taking the bus, like public transportation.
Right. Rashawn, so was I.
Right.
You're not speaking anything that I'm not familiar with.
Because you were a girl.
I was able to do a lot of things at a young age. When I was 9, I was walking to summer camp with my group of friends.
Right. So like I said, we are strict when it comes to our kids.
Wait, let me just clear that up. It's not that they're not allowed to cross the street. We don't really have streets to cross in a sense. Like we don't have sidewalks in our town. It's a house, the lawn, the curb, and the street. So it's not as though they're not allowed to cross the street. They're not allowed to walk to friends' houses in our neighborhood solely based on the fact that there are no sidewalks.
No, that's not true.
What do you mean that's not true?
When you were at the hairdresser, right? You said, Madison, go to the car and get my charger. Madison said, Mom, I can't. Because I can't cross the street to go get it.
Because she doesn't have any experience. This sounds so... I can't even imagine how this is coming off.
This is called strict.
No, listen. She couldn't cross the street because she didn't really have experience crossing the street. Because there are no streets to cross. And the reason, like I was saying before you interrupted me, they're not allowed to walk from our house to a friend's house because there are no sidewalks. And I'm always concerned about drunk drivers. I'm concerned about young teenagers that just got their licenses, that are texting while driving, on the phone while driving, that don't have good reaction time. If her and her friends are walking after it gets dark, there are kids that may not be, you don't have experience. According to you, a 16-year-old should be able to walk around at night. When I was 16, I was taking the train to New York City with you.
I didn't say at night.
At night, but if you're comparing what you were able to do at this age and what I was able to do to what Madison is able to do, it's just not comparable. We live in different times. We grew up just under a different umbrella. Like we were very different than our kids, and everything comes with the territory. So that's the reason why they don't have that much experience as far as walking in the streets. No, I know. I think it was worse that we were allowed to do what we were able to do because I grew up in Brooklyn and then Queens. You grew up in Queens.
Right.
And crime was a different beast.
It was
when we were growing up. I mean, I remember, walking around and seeing crack vials on the ground. Right. So yeah, it was completely different. And I went through a few things, when I was younger that demonstrated that it wasn't safe necessarily for me to be walking around at 9, 10, 11, 12, what have you, taking the bus to school at 12 and 13. But I was allowed to do that. So that doesn't dictate how I parent, because I don't think that I necessarily should have been able to do those things.
I'm not saying it does, but we are a little strict. But let's get back to the story.
So anyway, that's the reason why she can't cross the street, because she's not allowed to walk around the streets like her friends are able to go to their friends' houses, walk to their friends' houses and whatnot. So it's not that she can't cross the street. I knew how to cross the street probably when I was 6 or 7 years old, because I lived on a Brooklyn block and there was a street and a sidewalk and I crossed the street every day. So if we lived in that type of neighborhood, of course she would be able to cross the street, Rashawn. So don't paint that picture, because that just sounds ridiculous.
I am painting that picture. She couldn't go get your charger that day because she didn't know how to cross the street.
But I just explained why. So you're going to ignore what I just explained?
But she should be able to go across. Even another example.
They just don't have experience. It's not that they're not allowed.
Another example.
They're not allowed to walk to their friends' houses like their friends are.
I was going to the mall, right, at 15 years old with my friends.
Right.
You will never let Madison go to the mall.
Right, because I don't want her to be kidnapped.
Exactly, but she's with her friends. She has a cell phone. You don't care. If she wants to go to the mall, you be like, go ahead, and I'm going to be in the mall too.
Yes, but see, that's the thing. Hold on.
Following her around.
No. I don't follow her around. Like, for instance, that one time that we went to the mall.
Correct.
And she was with her girlfriend.
Right.
I said, okay, go ahead. Me and your dad will go get something to eat. Call me every 25 minutes so that I know that you're safe. Period. So I'm willing to do things that some other parents aren't willing to do. Other parents might say no, and no is no. My answer is yes. The stipulation is that I will take you there and I will pick you up.
All right.
So I'm willing to do those things.
Sounds strict to me.
I don't say, no, you can't do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, sure, whatever you... Listen, if you ask Madison, if she asks me for permission to do anything, the answer is 95% of the time, yes, 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 yes. I'm just going to put stipulations around it to make sure that she's safe.
All right, well,
that's all.
Back to the question at hand, right?
Okay.
So go ahead. So now this young man is talking about taking Madison wherever. It could be to the pizza shop. It could be to the mall. It could be to freaking McDonald's, right? Mm-hmm. So, I'm talking to Madison and I'm like, you know what? Well, Madison, what do your other friends do? It was like my other friends hang out with my friends that drive. It's cool. I usually don't because I'm not allowed to, And I said, well, Madison, you're the safety police. You see everything. How does this kid drive? She was like, he drives very safe. I've never seen him talk on the cell phone while he's driving.
That's a joke.
Text. He always wears a seatbelt.
That's a joke that you're even saying that. Why? So her experience with him driving, with what she sees, is him pulling in and out of the school parking lot.
No.
Which is no experience with him driving.
No, not with him driving.
She has no idea what he does because she's never been in a car with him.
Want me to explain it?
Feel free to explain it.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, the young man had a birthday party, correct?
I don't know.
At a spa. We dropped him off. We dropped her off.
Okay.
Right?
Well, that wasn't a party.
It's a birthday.
You said he had a birthday party. I said, I don't know. You said we dropped him off. We dropped her off.
A birthday spa type of thing, right?
Okay.
It was like 6 of them. They went to the spa.
Which we said yes to.
Right? Because we dropped her off. Now, on the way home, his friends were driving home with him. Mm-hmm. We told Madison no. So the poor boy's mom had to come to the spa to pick up Madison to drive home. Now
Hold
on the way,
oh, you came in here for a huggy?
We taping the podcast, baby. So hurry up, give mommy a hug, and then you got to get out of here.
And then daddy huggy.
Daddy huggy. All right, give me a kiss. Come on, hurry, give me a kiss. Don't huggy, just kiss. Bigger kiss. There's my. All right, get out of here, meatball. Love you.
We'll come get you when we're done, okay, princess? All right.
And close the door, please. Okay.
Close it tight, okay?
All right. So the poor boy's mom had to go to the spa just to pick up Madison. And when Madison was leaving, she seen the way he was driving. It was like, he drives fine. No problems.
Wait, I'm sorry. She saw him driving how?
She was in one car and the boy was in another car.
Oh, so when she saw him pull out of the spa
they were following
lot,
each other. They were following each other back to our town. So she seen him drive. Mm-hmm. So, but what I'm trying to say is Madison is the safety police. She will tell on me. If a cop pulled me over for texting and driving, Madison might be like, he was texting and driving. That's the type of person she is.
Sounds about right.
So when I came up to Gia and I said, if she wants to go out with this young man, whether it's to get pizza or wherever, I don't have a problem with it because I feel comfortable with the young man. And the young man even said to her, if I have to drive your parents around to show them that I'm a safe and good driver, I will. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with it, but you do. But before you state your side, let me ask you a question. You were driving with me when you were what age?
16.
16.
15, 16.
I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
I used to speed. Mm-hmm. I used to do crazy shit all the time.
Yep.
And you drove with me, right?
I did.
Not only that, you got on the back of my motorcycle times when I was doing over 100 miles an hour.
Yep, like a damn jackass. Stupid. That's exactly what I did.
Now, even let's take it younger than that.
What?
At age 14, you had a boyfriend who had a car.
Right.
And you drove with him.
Once to the movies to see True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I didn't ask you how many times. I said, did you or did you not drive with him?
Yes,
you did drive with him, right?
Yes, but I was a 14-year-old making a decision for myself, which I shouldn't have been able to do.
Did anything happen on any of those occasions?
No, nothing happened, but it doesn't take away the potential for something to have happened.
Anything could happen at any time. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, this young man seems like he's a way better and smarter driver than I was at 17, and probably way better than your boyfriend
you have
back then.
no grounds to say that.
No, I'm going to tell you why.
And the fact that you keep saying that sounds ridiculous. You've never been in a car with him.
Let me finish.
Hold on, let me finish that. You've never been in a car with him. You've never seen him drive more than in and out of a school parking lot.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
You have no idea. And stop passing gas.
Sorry.
Stop it. Oh my gosh.
Now let me finish what I'm saying. You wouldn't let me finish.
Wait, what is this?
Let me finish.
Fresh Breeze air freshener on my night table because he is incessantly passing gas.
That's because I eat greens.
Oh my!
But let me tell you.
Hold on.
Don't spray the mic.
I'm not spraying the mic.
You just sprayed the mic. Now you're going to talk into it. It's going to be all on your lips.
So I don't have to smell it.
Now, let me tell you what I was saying before you cut me off.
You're so rude.
Madison is way brighter and way smarter at this age than you were.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, absolutely, because you know what?
How is that way brighter and way smarter?
I'm going to tell you why.
I don't even understand how you...
Because Madison wouldn't get on the back of a fucking bike with her boyfriend doing 100 miles an hour. Madison wouldn't. Madison wouldn't get in the car when her boyfriend was speeding.
Why are you yelling at me?
Oh, Madison wouldn't get in the car with her boyfriend speeding. You know why? Because she's fucking smarter than you.
No, she's safer than me.
And smarter. That's smarter too.
If you say so.
So that's smarter. So I have 100%. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, but I'm 100% confident. That's the word I was looking for. I was going to say approval. Confident in my daughter and the decisions that she makes when it comes to safety. So I know if this young man did get a little crazy, my daughter's the type to be like, put me out right now. My daddy's coming to get me. So I do feel confident. You can't fucking comfort her and fucking hoard her for the rest of your life. You can't. You have to let her fucking wings fly a little bit. Like right now, she doesn't even know how to fly. You push her out the door, she's gonna fall on her face because she don't know how to fly. Teach her how to fly.
Okay, so what you're saying sounds okay. I mean,
it's correct. It's right.
No, it's not correct because you're not really providing a full picture of what's going on. Okay,
what's going on?
First of all, I'll put it out there. Like you're talking about strict. I'm not strict. I just want to make sure that my kids are safe.
Absolutely. We all do.
That's all.
We all do.
That's all. And anything that I can do to ensure their safety is exactly what I'm going to do. Our kids aren't allowed to do a lot of the things that their friends are allowed to do, but take into consideration that their friends drink, have full bottles of vodka like under their beds. Mm-hmm. At 16, they smoke, they juul, they vape, they do drugs, they pop pills, they do all types of things.
You didn't have friends like that?
And no, I did not.
Yes, you did.
What are you talking about?
You didn't have any friends on your block that drank?
No.
There was a dude at one of your parties.
What are you talking about?
There was a light-skinned dude at your party at your house.
What party at my house?
You had a party at your house that I was there, and there was a light-skinned dude, and he was drinking. I don't know who
No,
it was.
he wasn't. That's not true, Rashawn. Nobody was drinking in my house.
Well, my friends used to drink.
No, but how did you just make that up? I know what light-skinned dude you're talking about.
Isn't there a picture of him slumped over?
Yes, maybe he was tired. He absolutely, that was Lewis. He absolutely, positively was not drinking in my house. I did not have any friends. And this, listen,
my friends drink.
And this is completely different than times now. So I'm not comparing how we grew up necessarily to how things are right now. And I'm not saying that our generation was better than this generation or anything like that. But the truth is, and you should know because you were there. So I really want to know what you're talking about when I put it in that perspective. My friends did not drink.
My friends did.
And they did not do drugs.
And
they didn't even smoke. My friends didn't even smoke cigarettes. So now we had the same friends. By the time I hit 15 and I met you, what friends of ours were doing drugs? Just answer me that. Tell me, none of them were doing drugs. No. Who was doing drugs?
My friends from my block were drinking at that age.
But your friends that you had in common with me, so all of the kids that went to prep that we hung out with, tell me, were any of them doing drugs?
The ones we went to Catholic school, St. Francis Prep?
You know what school we went to, don't you?
Yeah, no, none of them, no.
None of them. Were any of them drinking? Did we ever go out and drink?
No.
Did any of them even smoke weed?
No.
Let's take it a step further. Did any of our friends smoke cigarettes?
No.
Exactly. So if you're talking about like when we were young, now your friends from your block,
right,
they might have just had a slightly different upbringing. That's all. So maybe
they drank 40s and they
maybe your friends on your block, but my friends didn't do that. So whichever way, Madison's friends do that
Not
stuff.
Not all of her friends.
Not all of her friends. I'm speaking generally.
Okay.
She has friends that do that. So, and a lot of those friends, their parents know that they do that. Some of her friends provide the alcohol and sometimes, the vapes and the jewels for their 16-year-old kids.
Correct.
So let's start by saying, don't tell me what her friends are allowed to do.
I'm not.
You did say something. You're like, okay, well, what are your friends doing? And your friends are able to drive with their friends and whatnot. Don't Don't draw that comparison.
No,
because we parent differently.
No, I said if all her friends are going out and this individual that we're talking about is not a drinker and not a smoker.
Why are you yelling at me?
I'm not yelling.
You are.
I'm not.
A little bit. You're raising your voice.
If he's not a drinker and he's not a smoker, then I don't see the necessary problem with it. You know, we have to allow her to do things.
You don't know. This is my point. This is why you sound a little ridiculous to me.
I don't know what.
You don't know if he drinks. You don't know if he smokes. Madison is not dating him, so she only knows what she sees.
Right.
And obviously she doesn't spend as much time with him because she's not able to drive with him and she doesn't go to his house or anything like that. So she cannot speak for whether he smokes, he drinks, he texts while he drives, he takes phone calls while he drives,
right.
or anything. She can only know. That's not about trust, sweetie.
It is.
It's not about trust.
It is.
Hold on. It's not about trust. So that's my first point. Let's not compare Madison to her friends and what they're able to do versus what she's able to do or what they're able to do and she's able to do compared to what we were able to do as kids. That's number one. Number two, Madison is allowed to date. If she wants a boyfriend, she can choose a boyfriend with my blessing.
She should be.
I'm just putting that out there because you're saying that I'm strict.
What's the first time you kissed a boy?
First time I kissed a boy?
Your little fast ass. Yeah, you kissed.
Yeah. 5th grade.
5th grade. What the? What? How old were you in 5th grade?
9 or 10.
9 or 10. Madison is 16 years old. She's went on one date.
Yes, I was.
And guess who else? Guess who else was on that date?
I was like, listen.
Guess who else was on that date? Me. I was in the restaurant with them,
and so was I.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, that's fantastic. But you can't compare what we were doing because our upbringing was totally different. You know, I lived on a inner city block. And I was playing and jumping double dutch on the sidewalk every day.
And you didn't get shot?
I could walk 4, but I could have.
We could walk. She could walk out the house and trip, fall on her face, and die. Break her neck.
What is that? What kind of comparison is that? You can't compare tripping and getting shot
because that can happen at any time.
Those two factors don't relate, and it has nothing to do with the type of neighborhood that you lived in. The type of neighborhood that I lived in, something like that maybe could have happened. You know, not that it was a bad neighborhood, but I grew up in Brooklyn in the 80s. So it was possible. So maybe my parents could have clamped down a little bit more. Would I have been happy about it? Of course not. I loved the way that I grew up.
And you turned out good?
Luckily, yes. But a lot of things happened to me when I was younger. Someone attempted to abduct me and I survived that.
Correct.
And there were a lot of things that happened. Hold on one second. You need to go pee-pee? Okay,
there's
baby,
a zillion and one. All right, go. But what? Okay, they said the bathroom's not working.
Go to the bathroom in your room.
I'll go in Madison's room and close the door.
Really tight, okay, handsome?
Oh my goodness.
Love you.
But all right, bye. You can just close. That's good. That's good. That's good. Let him go. All right. All right. Now, what are you saying now?
I don't remember what I was saying.
I was saying that Madison.
No, I was saying.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I said that she's allowed to date. That's number 2. Number 3. Let me just explain because this is what I was saying a little while ago that you didn't explain earlier.
Explain what?
The reason why she's not allowed to drive. Well, she's not allowed to be in a car with another teenager driving. I have no problem with when Madison turns 17 for her to make decisions about where she wants to go, if she wants to go to the mall, if she wants to go out to eat, if she wants to, explore and do things with her friends. I have no problem with that when she's 17. My perspective is this. When she's 17, she would have had a year under her belt learning how to drive with her permit.
All right.
And who would be teaching her how to drive?
Me.
You, me, maybe our friend Anthony, who's a pro driver. Maybe occasionally her grandfather, and maybe a handful of other people that I may trust her to be behind the wheel with under their guidance. I will be able to speak to her ability to drive. That coupled with the fact that I know that, as you put it, she's the safety police, I will feel confident with her as a driver. I will know that she's not going to text and drive. She's not going to drink and drive. She's not going to smoke weed and I don't know if smoking weed has any effect on your driving, but I know that she's not going to do drugs and drive.
Right.
I know that she's going to protect herself.
Correct.
I cannot put that trust in another teenager. I cannot. Even if I've driven with them once or twice, of course, they're going to be on their best driving behavior with us in the car. Correct. Let's say it's a boy that wants to date her. And I'm not saying that this boy wants to date her. He may just want to be her friend and hang out with her.
They're just friends.
Yeah, they're just friends, whatever it is. But I cannot speak to whether he has good reaction time, he has good reflexes, he has good intuition, he can get himself out of a stressful situation that comes upon him quickly while he's driving. I can't speak to any of those qualities. So if anything ever happens to Madison while she's in a car, I want to know that it is because it is either the fault of her own or the fault of another driver of which she has no control over. And it's not because I put her in a situation where another teenager is driving her and made some sort of mistake and she has to suffer and pay the consequences for it. I have to do my job as a parent.
That's correct.
So I do not feel comfortable with her as a teenager being in a car with another teenager. When she's able to drive, it is my prerogative, and I know that you don't agree with this, and I guess we're going to have to talk about it some more, but it's my prerogative that she always drive herself, or she is the driver of herself and her group of friends.
Well, let me tell you something, right? If Madison wasn't the way that she is, it'd be a different situation. If this was Logan we were having this conversation about, I would say, you know what? I agree with you. Because Logan is more of, I want to hang with the gang. Let's just all go out and have fun. That's Logan. He's safety second. Madison is such a safety first that I know Madison will be looking out for everything. She knows when somebody has drank
Even it might
before.
be too late.
Let me finish. She knows when somebody smoked before. She knows if somebody's driving and her feeling uncomfortable from the start. And she's a strong girl. She's not going to let somebody debo her. If she feels uncomfortable, she's going to get out that motherfucking car and call her daddy immediately. So that's what I'm fine with. And two,
but it can be too late at that point.
Anything could be too late.
And I'm an adult.
Let me finish.
And I don't always know if someone's drinking.
Let me finish. Now, when it comes to Madison, she is the type of individual where she is strong. She can do her own thing. But we have to allow her to go out there and do things. We have to allow her to make a mistake or two. And I'm not talking about a death mistake. How many fucking mistakes did you make?
Being in the car can be a death mistake.
It could be, but it could not be. It could be. And we're not saying.
But it could be. That's the part that I'm concerned about. That it could be. I don't care about the it could not be.
But she's not driving to Virginia. She's not driving to North Dakota.
She can get in an accident between here and 5 blocks from here.
She can slip out the house and break her neck. Anything can happen at any time.
But the probability that that's going to happen
is very low when it comes to driving.
No, it's not very low when it comes to driving.
Yes, it is.
I mean, you're less likely to get into a plane crash than a car accident.
We cannot protect her like that for the rest of our lives. What happens when she goes to college?
No, I want to protect her at least until she's 18. But listen, she can wait 8 more months.
No.
She can wait 8 more months until she's 17. That's
not right.
Why is it not right?
You did all
she can wait 8 more months until she's 17 to hang out with her friends in that capacity.
No. You did all types of fuck shit.
What does that have to do with anything?
What I'm trying to say
because I did things that I shouldn't have been able to do, I should pass that along. I should pass the baton to my daughter?
No, you did things that your parents allowed you to do and nothing happened.
Right. And there are kids that did the things that my parents let me do and things did happen.
There's kids that go to clubs right now at 25 and get shot by accident or something happens. If you continue to protect your daughter, something could happen at any given time.
But guess what? I'm lowering the probability.
You still have to allow her to live and be a teenager. That's
the stake in the ground.
No.
I am lowering the probability. So when your response to me is anything can happen at any time, my counter response is that it is my job as a mother to lower that probability.
No.
And it is within reason.
Fun away.
We don't take her fun away. She's able. Let me correct myself. I don't take her fun away within reason. I'm all about Madison having fun. I want her to enjoy her life to the fullest. Would it be more fun for her to go to the mall, to go out to eat, to go to parties in the car with her friends? Of course. Would it be more enjoyable for her to share those moments, laughing, giggling, talking, music blazing out the car and everything with her friends? Of course. I did it.
Right.
I know what it feels like. But in my opinion, she can wait 8 months to have those experiences where she's in control of the vehicle that she's in.
Yeah, I'm not saying give her everything that she asked for or let her drive in everybody's car, but if this one individual seems like a nice person, seems like he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do any of those things, and Madison would know because she's constantly around them, then I say, yes, you give her an opportunity to go out with her friend.
Seems like a nice person. Seems like they don't drink. Seems like they don't smoke. Madison knows this. Seems is not good enough for me. And no, Madison does not know.
There's no way of possibly knowing anybody, though.
Point.
There's no way of knowing anybody. I mean, think about it like this. A parent that drives Madison around could have just smoked some weed or just took some cocaine or just took some crack. She won't know. But at least with these kids, she's around more and she sees who drinks. She sees who smokes.
But at least if she happens to be in the car with an adult, a parent that may have just smoked a little bit of weed, at least they probably have 30 years of doing that under their belt and they're more equipped to handle that than someone that just got their license 8 months ago.
I'd rather she drive with somebody who doesn't drink or smoke than a parent who smokes a little cocaine that's brand new.
But the problem is that you don't know if this individual or any individual drinks or smokes.
We don't know anybody, though.
And that is my point. That is why I want my
That's
child.
called shelter.
That's why you can label it whatever you like. Truthfully, I don't care what it's called. I don't care how it comes across. The only thing that I care about is that I have as much control of my child's safety and she has as much control of her safety as possible.
I think you're wrong. I think you have to give her...
You just think I'm completely wrong.
I mean, you're right with some of the things that you're saying, but you can't overprotect your child where your child can't do some of the things that every and all the normal kids are doing that's legal. You know what I mean? I understand if a whole bunch of kids were drinking and she was like, oh, I want to drink. No, this is possibly one person Madison, who is the safety police. Now, if Madison wasn't this damn safety person, I would be like, all right, this is a little different. But she watches everything and she's aware of what's going on around her surroundings. And if she gives this person a clear protocol of good person, non-drinker, non-smoker. She said that he's actually the designated driver when they do go out because he doesn't do anything. He's a hard worker, seems like a nice boy, and he even said, hey, if I got to drive your parents around, I would, and nobody would do that. Shit, I wouldn't do that as a kid. I'm like, fuck it, get in the car, get the fuck out. You know, but I say give her an opportunity. I say give them an opportunity. If he wants to take it to the pizza shop or to the movies that's right around the corner or shit, who knows? Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I know you don't have a problem with it, but I do have a problem with it. Not to say that I'm not open to meeting him. And again, apparently they're just friends. Correct. Right? Yes. Or he just wants to hang out with her like he hangs out with a lot of people.
All of his friends, right.
You know? And I'm sure that he's a nice boy. And he may not drink. He may not smoke. He may be a very responsible driver. But at the same time, he may not be. So I'm not throwing this young man under the bus. I haven't met him. I know that you have. So I have no judgment on him. I have no opinion of him. This is just me talking about my daughter and a hypothetical person. Because I don't know him, to me, he's just a hypothetical person. And everything that I'm imagining can happen are just hypothetical forms of my imagination.
See, you know what the problem is? The real problem is the down to the bottom problem is.
What's that?
The problem is you.
Oh, I'm the problem.
You are the problem.
Oh, let me find out why I'm the problem.
All right, this is why you're the problem.
Educate me, please.
No, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, be honest.
You have too much time on your fucking hands.
That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on. Me, a mother of 5 who cooks, who cleans, who takes care of my children, who takes care of my husband, who's constantly traveling,
yes.
who's running this whole Casey machine. I have too much time on my hands.
Yeah, you do.
All right, I'd like to hear more about this.
What time do you go to sleep?
What time do I go to sleep?
Answer the question. What time do you go to sleep?
I go to sleep at different times on different nights.
Usually 2, 3 in the morning, correct?
On occasion.
Yeah, right. And what are you doing between the time of when I pass out and you go to sleep?
Taking my kids to basketball.
No. I mean
football.
At night. At night. When I go to sleep at 10 o'clock at night. When I fall asleep at 10 o'clock at night till you fall asleep at 2, 3 in the morning, what are you doing?
Binging on This Is Us recently.
No, that's recently. But before that, you were watching ID, right?
That's where you're going with this?
And criminal investigation ID.
Oh, so that's too much time.
That's too much time.
So on my free time between 10, 11 o'clock at night and 2 o'clock in the morning, that's too much time? No, that's not too much time. That's time that I make.
No.
That's time that I make.
Instead of watching
when I can
ID,
be in La La Land.
Instead of watching ID, watch the Christian channel. And you wouldn't have those thoughts. But you watch ID and then everybody's a burglar. Everybody's a criminal. Everybody's trying to kidnap. Everybody's trying to shoot somebody. That's your problem. Because every scenario that you gave me during this whole conversation, I've heard or seen on ID somehow, some way. Now, if you watch the Christian channel.
Oh, if I watch the Christian channel.
Your scenarios would be like, yes, maybe they'll go pray with each other.
Right.
Maybe they'll go to
because
church.
that's reality.
Or maybe they'll get a latte.
Because that's reality.
But you watching the ID channel, all you do is talk about, Madison, you're never going to Aruba because they kidnapped the girl in Aruba.
That's not true. Stop it. Now you're exaggerating.
Madison,
but hold on. Let me give you a real occurrence.
This happened on ID, right?
No, it didn't happen on ID. Let me give you a real occurrence that you may remember.
Where did this happen?
That you may remember. About a year ago. There was a boy. Who is the son of someone that we know's friend.
Okay, you confused me, but I'm trying to...
The son of someone that we know's friend.
All right.
And this boy was driving on the highway, teenager, 19 years old.
Okay.
Driving on the highway, and while he was driving, he was Snapchatting. Lost control of the car, crashed, ran off into a ditch, and I believe he was decapitated. Mother and father lost, I believe, their only child? No. No, he had a sister, I believe.
Right.
Hold on.
Who is it? Go ahead. Maddie, you on this... What? No, I was just going to say. Yeah, I can wake up in the morning. No, there's no also. We're doing a podcast. We're like in the middle.
It also.
Goodbye. Peace.
Beat it. Love you.
Go ahead. Good night.
I believe he was the only boy. I think he had a sister. But whichever way, he was Snapchatting. And I believe he was missing for a day or two, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And the only way that people were able to find him in the car, which ran off into a ditch, was because of his last Snapchat, which was like something, and this could be wrong, but something to the effect of like, woohoo, and it showed that he was speeding and whatnot.
Right.
19-year-old kid, lost his life. That's not too far removed from stupid-ish that you did.
Correct.
When we were young. Driving like that, showing off, especially when you have friends in the car, speeding, music blasting, that's a thing. It was a thing when we were young. It was a thing 5 years ago. I'm sure it's a thing now.
Correct.
It's just a teenage way of life for some teenagers.
That's
Do you know
true.
what I mean?
It is.
And I just don't want her in a situation where, yes, I know Madison speaks up. I know, as you put it, she's not going to get deboed. My point is, I don't want it to be a situation where it's too late. And even if it's a kid that's on his P's and Q's, I don't want a kid that has only been experienced in driving for 8 months, who just got his license. I can't speak to the fact that he's able to handle situations that require intuition or reflexes or anticipate an accident happening 3 seconds before it happens. Do you understand what I'm saying? They could be as a matter of fact, a few years ago, I was on the George Washington Bridge and a car stopped in front of me. Like, it was such an abrupt stop. It was a car stopped in front of them, a car stopped in front of them. It was like a domino effect. I had to jam on my brakes, and that's only because my reflex, my intuition, I saw it happening. But I might have only had 2 seconds to make that decision or else I would have rear-ended him. I jammed on my brakes and I just knew that the person in back of me probably didn't have the same reaction time. And after I jammed on my brakes, I just looked into my rearview mirror because I was waiting to get rear-ended. And sure enough, I was rear-ended. And that could be, a kid flying through a windshield. And that has nothing to do with drinking, smoking, or anything like that, texting. That has to do with reaction time. I can't put my kid in a situation where the driver, even though he's doing everything right, isn't able to handle something that might be difficult to prevent.
Well, how did that rear end feel?
I had on my seatbelt, so I was okay. I had a backache for a few days, but...
Would you like to get rear-ended later on?
Awesome. It's just great. You're fantastic. You're actually amazing. You're amazing.
Sorry.
Thanks.
And finish your point.
You never miss an opportunity.
Nope.
Great. And that's my point. So you can be right. Like I said, he can be a nice kid. He could be a straight A student. He could be the pillar of responsibility. But let's just change the focus. It can be because of a lack of experience driving.
Well, you know what? Well, let's do this because we can disagree all night long, right? Let's just ask people when they hear the podcast to leave a comment under the picture. Is Gia being too much of an overprotective mom? That the fact that her 16-year-old daughter can't go with a young man that is a safe driver, that doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, that, is willing to take the parents out to show him that he can drive, and Madison's a strong girl that will not let anybody speed or anybody talk or text on the phone. Is Gia being too overprotective, especially at her age? She did way worse.
That has nothing to do with it.
I'm just
you
asking.
You have to know that.
I'm just asking the question.
Go ahead.
Or am I being wrong? That is the question.
Okay. And just so you know, I'm an open-minded person, am I not?
Open-minded?
Open-minded.
Yes.
Okay. I would be willing to entertain maybe taking a ride or two with him.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm satisfied with that, maybe during daytime hours, maybe creeping into evening hours, duskish, maybe I would let him drive with her in town. Meaning to the movies in our town, out to eat in our town.
Or are you going to follow them as they drive?
And hold on, I'm not saying that I'm agreeing to this. I'm saying I'm open to the discussion of it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm satisfied with him, because at that point, maybe he'll understand exactly how serious it is. And maybe he would drive with her the same way that he would drive with us in the car because he realizes how serious it is.
All right. What about this? What about if I lend him, right? If they go to the movies, my Rolls Royce, because I know if he drives my Rolls Royce, he will not do anything. He will extra protect it.
I don't think that's necessary because I know that this kid has a pretty nice car. So I'm sure he doesn't want to harm his own car.
There's a difference when you're driving.
Give me a break. Stop it. Stop. You know what I mean? So that I'm open to the discussion.
Okay.
All
right. So please leave a comment and let us know what you think. And you will not hurt Gia's feeling if you don't agree.
How do you know if my feelings will get hurt or not?
Well,
You're just going to speak for me?
I'm not, but people just got to be honest. That's all.
Uh-huh.
All right. So first email.
Going to emails now?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Hey, Gia, I think you're so dope. Just listen to this week's podcast, and I heard you mention your daughter attending Montessori school. I have 3 children, 2-year-old twins, and a 3-year-old.
Ooh.
My oldest daughter is very independent and creative, so I really wanted to enroll her in Montessori school, but against my gut, I enrolled her in regular school at 2 years old, and she had a difficult time adjusting, so I withdrew her. Now she's 3. I'm still considering Montessori school. Questions. Did all of your children attend Montessori school? I can answer that. That's yes. Why did you choose a Montessori school, and what other benefits you feel your children received? I can start off. And the reason I picked that is because a lot of people ask about our kids in schooling. So I can start.
Sure, of course.
All of our kids went to Montessori. Reason being is Montessori has a way of teaching where they, when they start to teach the kids, they really see what your kid is I guess, pushing to or
interested in what
they gravitate towards. And then they kind of focus on that. It's a way of learning. It's no real age limit as far as not, all the third graders are in one class, all the fourth graders in one class. Somebody's at our door. It's, the third graders will be with the 3-year-olds will be with the 7-year-olds. So it's a way of learning where they learn how to play with other kids, do activities with other kids. So all of our kids have been in Montessori as soon as they were able to. Brooklyn, who's 1.5, will probably be going next month.
Right.
So that's that. So what do you think about Montessori schools?
I love the fundamentals of Montessori, especially for kids at a young age. It's not a very regimented way of learning. Just like you said, they allow so let me give the setup. Their classrooms, like when they first start, it can be babies in a classroom with kids all the way up to 5 years old.
Correct.
So the ages are integrated. And it's nice because it encourages socialization, but you see the older kids, the 4 and 5-year-olds, helping with the babies and helping with the younger ones. So that's kind of nice. And the younger ones are learning and taking cues from the older ones. So I like that about it. And I like that the kids are encouraged to be individuals. They're encouraged in that way by being able to choose what they want to learn. They get to choose what they want to play with. They get to choose what they're interested in. So that encourages freedom. So if you walk into a Montessori class, you see children at different stations, different areas, different tables, and they're doing things that appeal to them. So with that taken into consideration, you get to see if your child is probably going to excel in math or excel in logic or excel in different areas. And when you receive that information, you can further encourage that information, that focus at home.
Right.
So that, I think, is nice. And in my opinion, it reduces the stress level of the kids. If a child is in, a normal school setting, then I don't want to say that they're forced, but they're expected to keep up with that level of education and whatever that curriculum is. But in a Montessori school, they're able to, in a sense, establish their own curriculum. So at a young age, they can't feel as though they're failing. They can't feel as though they're not adequate. They can't feel as though they're not keeping up because they determine what keeping up is because they're only keeping up with themselves.
Right.
So that for me, I'm sorry, this is
it's like an active driveway.
Night.
What's up, Lo?
Hey, boo boo.
We're taping. How's practice? Good? All right, peace. I'll see you in a second.
So I think that that's very encouraging for a young child because even at a young age, you can experience stress as a child. So I like it for those reasons. I like the freedom and the individuality that's able to be expressed.
Yeah, I do too. And, try it out. You could actually have your kid there for a day and let them experience the class. You could actually stay for a couple hours and see if you like it. All of our kids have really, really enjoyed it. And, we wouldn't be sitting in Brooklyn there if we didn't love it.
Right.
All right. Now, next.
But that's not to say that, normal school isn't great and can't be successful. It's just a preference.
Right. And that's what we prefer. All right. Now, the next one. Now, this is a long ass email. All right. Hey, Gia and Envy.
We know how you love those.
I hate these, but this is long as shit. My phone might die reading this. I know you guys receive millions of emails and DMs a day, but I'm screaming for help to get the love of my life back. He's a big fan of you guys' podcast as well as The Breakfast Club. We have years of history. We met on MySpace when I was 16, and ever since we have been in and out of each other's lives. 3 years back, during us reconnecting, I lied about something that hurt him deeply and that has put a dent on our relationship. I'm embarrassed to say what I lied about. I would have loved to know, but she didn't say. We have broke off from communication for a year, and during that time, I was lost. We reconnected again and again, broke off communication. We have had kids. He has a child as well as I have a child by different people and always wanted kids with each other. It has been constant back and forth of us being in and out of each other's lives. Now when we are together, it's magical. We make love that makes us go crazy. We are happy and goofy when we are around each other, so that's not our problem. Our problem is me. He has played a part of us falling back from each other as well, but I will take the blame. I have an attitude problem. He always says I don't listen, and it causes him to repeat himself, which he hates. Hold on, I got a cough. All right, this is long. I need water to drink this. To read this. All right. I have explained to him due to previous medical issues, I can forget little things. Recently planned a day for us to spend with each other because he lives in North Jersey and I live in South Jersey. So it's kind of a little distance between us and we both work a lot. The day we planned went perfect in the beginning up until dinner when he was sharing a story with me in confidence and I made a few faces because I wasn't agreeing with information that was being shared. Shit, this is long. It led to an argument and things was like, you're not my girl, and me saying, I think I want to go home. We went back to our hotel room and packed our things to separate. I stopped and I wanted to try to work things out. He didn't want to talk. He got in his car and tried to leave. I had my hand on the door trying to open up and he was talking through his window. I really didn't want him to leave. I wanted to talk things out and continue our day we planned. To stop him from leaving, I sat on the hood of his car. Oh boy, all wrong. Well, Envy and Gia, that didn't stop him from backing up or moving a little up. So I got off the car and watched him drive off. I went back into my hotel room and cried and called, begging for him to come back. I sat in the hotel room for 2 hours thinking he just went for a drive to cool off, but I realized he wasn't coming back. We have been working on getting back in a relationship, but he constantly reminds me I'm not his girl, and that really sets me off. I sometimes wonder, well, I'm not your girl. Why are we planning on romantic things? I thought threatening him by saying I'm leaving, don't call me or text me would work to see if he'll fight for me like I do for him, but it seems like that didn't work. What do I do? What do you think? I gotta breathe. Hold on. Jeesh.
What's her name?
She didn't say her name.
Oh, okay.
No, her name is Yummy Love.
Ooh, okay. I didn't want you to.
Oh, well, she said sincerely Yummy Love.
Oh, okay.
She didn't say don't say my name.
I mean, if her name was like Jennifer, that would have been very generic.
Right.
I didn't want you to give her. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, kids just keep knocking on the door. What do you want? Open the door.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's that's the nanny, Irma.
It's okay. It's okay.
We should be done in like 10 minutes, Irma. Or maybe 15 minutes with Gia.
Okay.
All right. Now, what I would tell her to do, this is pretty simple. And guys, I'm sorry about the stops. But I mean, if he's giving you a story and you're making facial expressions.
Hold on. I knew it. I knew that that's the part that you were going to latch onto. That's why I wanted you to go first.
What?
I just wanted to know if I was right, if my intuition was right. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
Now, you can consider that childish. Oh, it's just facial expressions is my natural reaction. But sometimes, in my opinion, and I'm not going to say he was right, but sometimes a man just wants to have a conversation without feeling judged. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
I mean, I can predict like the next 2 minutes of what you're going to say. Go ahead.
So, I mean, what you did wasn't wrong, and he was mad about that, and he could have been mad about that, but the way he reacted was whack. I mean, you had a plan. That's not a reason to break up your plans because of the way somebody reacted or somebody looked at you. That's not it at all. He could have reacted to that way better, in my opinion. But you got to stop fighting. If he doesn't want to fight for it, you got to stop fighting. It has to be equal amount of fight. The fact that you jumped on his car and grabbed his door handle, he knows you want it and he loves it.
Right.
He loves to see you beg. He loves to see you ask. He loves it. That's what guys love to do. He knows the fact that maybe his dick got you going crazy, or the fact maybe you just like him, and he knows that. And there's nothing wrong with that. You should love somebody or like somebody like that. But he should like you back. And if he doesn't show the same amount of emotion For you, you might be doing too much. You might just want to fall back a little bit. You know, the fact that you sat on the car, told him to come back, and you went back to the hotel room and he didn't come, and he knows that, excuse me, he knows that you did this for, you know, that was your night, shows me maybe he's not as interested as you think he is, or the fact that he's using you because he likes the attention.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Pass me that water because I'm over here dying reading that long ass email.
Here. I couldn't agree with you more. The fact that she puts on this whole display to show him how much she wants him, how much she needs him, in my opinion, is probably intoxicating to him. And if it's not intoxicating, at the very least, it's reassurance to him that he can get away with whatever it is that he wants to get away with, because he knows that she's going to be there,
right,
waiting and happy for him to return at the end.
Absolutely.
That kind of behavior on her part pretty much allows him to do whatever it is that he wants to do, because the assurance is there.
Correct.
He has nothing to worry about. And in my opinion, it's human nature that people only do what you allow them to do.
Right.
People only do what they can get away with, because on the other side of that is you turning your back and walking away.
Right.
So if you turn your back and you walk away, they realize that what they're putting out there won't be tolerated. And then if they want to be in that situation with you, they have no choice but to not act in that manner anymore.
I agree with you. And, you know, and I think with their relationship, they're comfortable with each other. You see what I'm saying?
They sound more than comfortable.
I think he knows that she's not going anywhere because she has a child and she enjoys him. And I think he feels the same way. And he likes playing that cat and mouse game where it's like, I'm running, chase me. I'm running, chase me. Okay, you caught me. I love you. Okay, all right. You think you did something to get me mad. I'm running, chase me. And it's crazy because we went through that a lot younger, where I was the same way, where I loved the attention of you. Baby, don't go. Don't run. Come on, let's talk. Like, I love that. And maybe he's going through that phase right now. That doesn't mean he doesn't love you or he doesn't like you. It just means that he loves the attention, and he's not going to stop until you stop. Right,
because your behavior is so predictable.
Right.
He knows how you are going to act when he walks away, when he hangs up the phone. He knows that if he disrespects you and hangs up on you, that you're going to call him back, and you're going to leave a message. He knew that you were going to chase him out of that building. He knew that you were going to put on a demonstration outside the car. He knew that he could disrespect you by only talking to you through a cracked window. He probably knew that you were going to sit on the car, and he knew that he could peel off and that you would go inside and cry and be upset and call him and leave messages, and he would deliberately not answer the phone and not call you back.
Right.
But I tell you one thing, if you walked out of that building, if he walked out of that building and you didn't follow him, he would be shocked as bleep.
He might have came right back.
He might have came right back, because you would have thrown a monkey wrench in his perceived plan.
Right.
Because you didn't do what he predicted you to do. You didn't do what he expected you to do.
Absolutely.
And he would think to himself, wait, this isn't the way it's supposed to go.
Right.
What's going on?
Absolutely.
You know, when people always want, and we've said this before, people always want what they can't have. People always want what they have to work hard towards.
Right.
When you give something to a person on a silver platter and you make it easy for them, whether they realize it or not, whether you realize it or not, their interest lessens. And I personally just think that most of us are probably hardwired to be that way. I think we always want the things that we have to work hard for.
Right.
You know, like if you're just really bright and you can get any job that you want because you have a great resume and a great education and blah, 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 you may not appreciate the fruits of, you know, what you've essentially earned as much as a person that had to study really hard, who had to go in and slay that interview and had to, you know, go back for another interview and, you know, really had to prove themselves and give the references and, you know, maybe work on a trial basis and then finally get the job. You know, when we have to work harder for something, we just appreciate it more.
Absolutely.
And you're not really giving him the opportunity to appreciate you. You're not really giving him the opportunity to desire you or work towards you, to feel the fruits of that labor, the labor that he puts into getting you and keeping you and making you happy. I just think that you need to lay off. And believe me, it is not easy. It is not easy. Like when someone hangs up on you and they're not calling you back and all you want to do is curse them out or tell them about themselves or handle it however you want to handle it. It's so difficult to not pick up that phone and dial that number. Seriously, like it takes willpower. It takes, sometimes in the past, I've felt like I had to throw my phone in the toilet to prevent myself from calling you back when I was upset. Mm-hmm. But you knew that I was going to call you back.
Right.
So that gave you the comfort to hang up that phone.
Absolutely.
So it's not easy. So I'm not saying that you need to lay off like it's just something that you can do. I know from experience, it's not easy, but you have to be very deliberate about it.
Absolutely.
Recently I had a friend that I had to be like, listen, don't call him back. It was a very not completely identical, but there were similarities. And I had to be like, do not call him back because he is expecting you to call him back. He knows that you are going to chase him because you are always 100% of the time the chaser and he's always the chasee.
Right.
I said, but if you don't, you will really send him for a loop.
Right.
And I bet you that something's going to happen that you don't expect. And that's how it turned out. I said, if you feel the need to call him, pick up the phone and call me first. I said, sometimes I don't pick up because I'm busy with the kids. For the next 2 days, I will pick up the phone every time that you call.
Right.
Do not call him. And she didn't. And everything worked out. I just think that, what's her name again?
Yummy Love.
I think that I think that Yummy Love just really needs to be assertive and get her own self and her own actions in check and stop reaching out. If he wants to be a part of your life, he will call you. And if he doesn't, then guess what? That tells you something. That tells you that despite the cat and mouse, despite the games, that you're not a priority for him. And then you just need to make that a realization and then move towards something else.
Right. And I agree. And Yummy Love, we wish you the best of luck. And hopefully everything works out because you guys seem like you guys are really, really a match for each other. So hopefully everything works out.
Yes.
All right. Now, don't forget again, April 15th, our live show. We'd love to see you guys there. We're going to be talking about, I don't want to tell them yet, just in case we change our mind.
Just in case we change our mind.
Just in case we change our mind last minute.
Well, I didn't even know that there wasn't our mind.
Well, my mind. What?
You're going to stop deboing this whole podcast. I'm just letting you know. before we might change our mind. I don't even know what we're talking about that day.
Okay, well, I'll let you know later.
Oh, you're going to fill me in?
I'll fill you in.
I cannot. Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
No, when you think about what we're going to talk about, what's the first thing that comes to your mouth?
Why?
Just dick. No, I'm just kidding. All right, well, that's funnier than your damn muffin joke. All right.
People liked my muffin joke.
No.
Did you see? There were people that there were a few that thought it was horrible, but there were those listeners that did find the muffin joke funny. And for the record, the only one that had to find it funny was London and Jackson, and they did. Thank you very much.
All right, for now, people who never heard the muffin joke, you want to tell them what?
I'm not saying it again.
All right.
And I'm mad that you made me say it that day.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. I'm DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And that was another edition of the Casey Crew.
Thanks for coming over. Toodles.